What's up, Ripple Effect? I hope you guys are all doing awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram Live. I'm sure it was great. Hey, if you're just joining us this week, we've been reading through the book of Romans the past couple weeks, and kind of the way it works, or the past week, not couple weeks, sorry. But kind of the way we've been doing it is we've been having one reading on Sunday, and then one reading that you do with your small group, and then one reading that you do on your own throughout the week. So this is week 2 that we're starting tonight. And if you didn't catch the past 2 weeks, it's okay, you can jump right in here. In the past couple weeks, Paul kind of sets up the idea of sin, and he explained what it does to our hearts and the consequences of it. And then he moves on to tell us that because of Christ, it's no longer the law or our behavior that makes us right with God. Rather, it's our faith that makes us right with God. So there's nothing that you and I can do to be good enough or to be on our best behavior or whatever else. Rather, it's our faith in Jesus that justifies us with God. And the easy thing to do whenever we hear that is to say, okay, I have faith. That means that my behavior doesn't really matter. I can do whatever I want. I can live however I want because I'm justified by my faith. In fact, you might think the more I sin, the more grace I receive, and grace is a great thing, so let me just do that. But Paul says no, and he goes on to talk about this, and he says that God shows us kindness in our sin. He shows us kindness and grace in our sin, but chapter 2, verse 4 says that kindness is meant to lead us to repentance. In other words, to turn from our sin. It's meant to lead us to change. And then he goes on to explain in the next few chapters that our behavior and obedience to God shows that we have faith. In other words, we don't obey God to be made right with him. Rather, because we've been made right with God, we can trust him and obey him. So obedience and trusting God always follows true faith. And this week we're going to touch on how this chapter, the next 2 chapters we're about to read tonight, we're going to touch on how difficult times like the ones we're going through now can create hope and spiritual endurance, and God uses them to do that in us. And then Paul's also going to introduce this idea of a new identity. And he kind of talks about how we die to our old selves just as Christ died on the cross. And then just as Christ rose again, we are risen again in new life, and we're given this new identity, meaning that you and I are dead to sin. And this means that we're no longer slaves to it, right? We're no longer slaves to sin. Sing the song, you know you want to. We now have found freedom. We don't have to let sin control our lives anymore. We have choice. We have choice now. And this is a huge, important topic that's really life-changing whenever you begin to grasp it. And it's really what enables us to walk with Jesus, is this new identity that you and I have been given. You don't have to live ashamed anymore. You've been given a new identity. You're not the person that you were before. So get ready to dive deep with your small group tonight as we continue to study Romans together. But tonight I want to challenge you guys, before you start reading together, take a couple moments and just pray together that God would kind of reveal the text to you and help you understand what you're reading, and help you guys be honest and really real with each other and have great conversation. We're excited to keep reading Romans together. Read this tonight. We'll have another reading throughout the week that comes out on Tuesday, so you can keep up with us throughout the week. All right, see you later.